Hello and welcome once again to Crazy Comics and Stories. It's me, your charming and delightful old Uncle Rat Bastard. And it is Festivus. That's right. December 23rd is Festivus. Joe hates Festivus, so he is not here.
The following tone is a reference tone of 700 Hz. The remainder of the tones are recorded at this level with the exception of the last tone, which is a reference tone at operating level.
We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume. If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper.
Sorry about that, but can you believe this shit? Cory disinvited me to the Festivus episode. I mean, every year he's like, oh, we're having Festivus. And so what did I do? I naturally complained bitterly. And so he said, well, fine, we'll do it somewhere else without you. Oh, can you believe that shit? Not only that, I actually had a solid list to complain about because I got issues with you people. But no, it's going away. Don't need it. But the other thing I will complain about are the guests. Every time Cory has a special event, he invites guests. And you know what? They bail. Almost to a T. Everybody's too busy this, too busy that. Folks, I don't mean to get too serious, but damn it all, listen to Shatner. The Shat said it. Say yes. Why? Because someday you won't be able to say yes. Two of the biggest regrets I have on our show, I always wanted to get Nick Post on. I wanted to get my friend and employee Mike on, but they passed away. They'll never be on the show again. And just say yes, because someday this show will be just a blip in the memory, and we won't even have had a Wikipedia page. Speaking of complaining, I am real tired of people complaining. It's so boring. It's like people just, this sucks. No, that's not a complaint. That's you being fucking 2 years old. Just stop it. If you want to complain about something or you don't like something, just say, you know what? I really didn't like the last Spider-Man movie. Not just, it sucked. Because somebody liked it, and all you're doing is you're either trolling or you're just asking for a dumbass argument. Just stop it. I'm tired of it. And the final thing, because now that I hijacked the podcast here, and I know Cory's probably going on and on, not even knowing that I did that, I'm getting real tired of you, the listeners. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful for you being our listeners. Every time we start a podcast, I make Cory tell us, well, how many downloads do we get? Who's we downloading? But we get very, very little feedback from anybody. Mosaic, Travis, you're probably the only two that consistently give it to us. Really, folks, send us an email, send us a note, share our podcasts with your friends. We're not everybody's cup of tea. Hell, we're not even our cup of tea. But the fact is, we've been doing it for 10 years. I really would like more feedback. And again, I worked radio. I know you guys are probably just listening in the background, having some fun. But send us a note. Send us your want list. Send us a complaint for God's sake. Anything, please. All right, let's go back to the podcast and see if Cory's still talking.
Instead, I have two special guests. Special guest number one, from an undisclosed location, is Stephanie. And I can't pronounce your original last name anymore because I've never heard it.
It's actually not my original last name. My original, the one I was born with was Katz, which was my dad's name. And I have recently legally changed my name to my mother's maiden name, which is Coronado.
Ah!
If it sounds Spanish, it's because it is, kids. I just thought I'd throw that in.
Well, that's good.
Well, I'm glad it sounds like what it is.
And at the other end of the series of tubes and wires that we call the internet is someone who's been on the show before, Dangerous Dan Mohr.
Well, actually,
who got a musical introduction of some kind.
I love it. That was awesome.
Guys, hear what my work day is like because there are notifications constantly. I don't know how to turn them off, but that's okay.
And how is everyone doing in this wonderful holiday season?
Well, I was going to quickly be Joe for everybody. So I go, hey, how are you guys doing? I'm doing fine. I just found out I'm colorblind. The news came out of the purple. Anyway, go to my eBay page. It's all great. Okay.
I was just gonna bah humbug myself, but you know, that's nothing new. That's nothing new at all.
Well, because it is Festivus, we must begin with the story of Festivus, and for that, we have a pre-recorded origin for Festivus.
Many Christmases ago, I went to buy a doll for my son. I reached for the last one they had, but so did another man. As I rained blows upon him, I realized there had to be another way. What happened to the doll? It was destroyed. But out of that, a new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of them. The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Now, we're not going to do the feast.
What?
No, because we're not anywhere near each other. We're not going to do the feats of strength because Stephanie's the one who's been at the gym the most lately, and she would make us both look like idiots.
No. I'll take her on.
And who is this fourth party on the phone?
What do you mean, who is it? It's me. It's the most important of the duo. It is Wolfie, and I am here to take something. What the fuck am I doing here?
I've been asking that for around 12 years.
Fair enough.
But we can have the airing of grievances.
Yay, my favorite part.
I got a lot of problems with you people. And now you're going to hear about it. I have Stephanie and Dan on the show because they probably have a lot of grievances. Stephanie probably has more grievances than the rest of us.
Wait, why? What
Because
happened?
she's been actually going to conventions and dealing with other humans.
That's true. I have been. It started all up again, and now it looks like we're going back down into whatever, lockdowns, shutdowns, whatever, because of selfish people. And we'll get to that. That's like at the top of my grievances. What a surprise.
But I have a grievance with Stephanie to begin with.
Oh, my goodness. Bring it on. What is it? What did I do now?
So Stephanie has started going to conventions again. She tells me about them, and I will look on the guest list. And there was one she went to where I looked, and one of the guests was Julie McCullough. Julie McCullough, who was in Playboy back in 1986, has had some acting, some voice acting, and does stand-up comedy. And I said, Stephanie, when you meet her, could you please let her know that I'd like to marry her?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure that would go over well. Go on.
And as you can see, I am still single.
I asked. You asked me to ask, and I asked, and instead she asked me to sit on her lap, so I did. I sent you a picture of it.
Wow, she cock-blocked you.
Click. He hangs up on me. You bitch.
And, you know, I tried to explain what a wingman does. And being a wingman is very simple. All Stephanie has to do is, have you met my friend Cory? And then walk out of the way. No, instead, she grabbed onto Julie, as you can see in the picture, attached to her like she is the alien that comes out of the egg and jumps onto John Hurd's face. So rather than me being married to one of the three women on my list of women that I would be happy to spend the rest of my life with, no, Stephanie has a new friend, and I'm sitting here with a Lifesavers sweet storybook, and no pictures, no nothing.
Well, it could be worse. It could be my ex-husband, who I told, the last words I said to him before I left him for good was, I hope you and your right hand will be very happy together. And he deserved it. Take my word for that, okay? So he didn't even get pictures. He got nothing.
So who would like to go next?
Oh, I have a grievance against Stephanie too.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So she recently posted that she's going to try to help people get to conventions, and she said that they need to at least be recognizable. And I'm very upset because, just because nobody knows who I am doesn't mean I'm not famous. I mean, it may be the definition of the word, but that's not the point.
Gee, we know someone just like that.
Here's the thing, though. Wolfie has marketable skills.
That's true.
And is better looking.
Yes. I certainly did. Well, thank you. No, I just. Oh, she got it. Okay, I have no longer have a grievance against her.
That was easy.
Yeah, I'm easy. Shut up.
Dan?
Yeah.
Would you like to join in? Or is Wolfie going to do all your talking for you?
Oh no, I'll join in. Don't worry. He just had a grievance against Stephanie. My only grievance is she hasn't actually gone out with me with all these other stories she's got.
I've got stories now, though. It's like, God, my stories go back to what, 1980 something. And as we know, Seinfeld, they're all in the vault. I'm not writing a book. Everyone wants to write a book. And you know what, though? I do have to mention very quickly here, Gianni Russo was at both the last two shows I went to, which was Parsippany, New Jersey, Halloween weekend, and then I was just outside of Pittsburgh last weekend. He's the guy who played Carlo in The Godfather. He marries Connie, and then they kill him. So if you haven't seen The Godfather, that was like a spoiler. Whoops. Anyway, he wrote a book, and I could take up the entire podcast just talking about this book, but I won't. And people read it and say, if 10% of what you wrote in that book is true, it's pretty damn amazing. You can't put it down because he's a real life mobster. He lied his way onto the set to get that part. He wasn't an actor. He's never been an actor. He's a real life mobster. He's killed people. He was involved in the Kennedy assassination. He lost his virginity to Marilyn Monroe when he was 16 and she was 33. This guy has done things he's had like 4 hits on his life. They shot up his house with his family inside, his wife and his kids. Anyway, he did just write a book, but only because everyone mentioned the book is now dead.
including the movie he was in that I know him from, Super Mario Brothers.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, wait, no, that's just everybody who was in the movie's career is dead. Never mind.
Wait. So what you're saying is that he was a mobster that got into The Godfather, and then he was in Super Mario Brothers?
Yes.
Okay, so he's still not an actor.
He's an interesting guy to talk with. Yeah.
And I really hope he's not listening to this.
Well, fine.
If I disappear in another week or so, everyone knows what happened.
Wolfie gets whacked on the next episode.
Wolfie gets whacked and I have one hand.
Wolfie's head's in the bed with never mind. Oh.
Well, it would change the meaning of Wolfie sleeps with the fishes.
Oh my gosh. Luca Brasi. Sorry. Before I go all book round, you know what I'm saying? I start talking like this. But yeah.
Yeah, because at the moment when I sleep with the fishes, they wiggle.
And he's got some stories, though. Seriously, I've never heard as many crazy stories. Just reading the book was one thing, but he said, there's stories that aren't even in the book. I'm doing a sequel to it because, oh my gosh, how do I condense this story into 30 seconds? Okay, so he owns these nightclubs in Las Vegas, and they're on the up and up, things, he's got everybody in his back pocket, the talks, everybody, whatever. But a guy comes into the club one night, he's drunk, he's high on cocaine, whatever. He starts fighting with his girlfriend, and he breaks a drinking glass, and cuts her face with it. So this guy, Gianni, comes over and says, hey, you can't do this in my club, blah, blah. The guy pulls a gun or goes to pull a gun. Gianni, of course, is packing, pulls a gun, shoots, kills the guy, dead. In his club in Las Vegas. This happened on State Street in Las Vegas. Long story short, what he didn't know was that the guy he killed was Pablo Escobar's #1 man.
Oh.
So Pablo invites, I'm making air quotation marks, Gianni down to where he is to explain himself. And he's like, well, this is it. They're not going to find my body. Anyway, he gets down there and he has the shit beat out of him within an inch of his life. They're going to kill him because of what he did. And I'm not kidding. This is all in the book. They're like electrocuting his testicles. I mean, they are torturing this man. And Pablo walks into the room and Gianni thinks, okay, he's going to finish me off. And he says, why you didn't tell me you were Carlo in The Godfather? That's my favorite movie. Boys, go clean him up. Take care of him. What? So this is a joke. This is real. So they bring him to a nice, plush, comfy room. They nurse him back to health. And then he's invited down to the veranda to go have a cup of tea with Pablo Escobar. And Pablo Escobar has the movie, I'm not kidding, the Godfather movie memorized. And he wants to act out the scenes that Carlo was in with Carlo. And Gianni's going, this has got to be a joke. This has got to be a joke. This guy's got to be pulling my leg. But no, he knows word for word, so they act out the scenes. Until the scene where they put Carlo in the front seat of the car. You've seen the movie?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
What? Seriously, Dan?
Yeah, seriously.
You've never seen The Godfather.
No.
Finally, I have a grievance about Dan.
Wow. So I already told you that Carlo gets killed. So this is the scene in the movie. Carlo gets into the front seat, and there's two mobsters in the back seat, and they basically put a rope over the front, over his head, and they strangle him to death in the front. So now he gets in the car because they're acting out all the scenes, and they said, we're going to take you to the airport. He goes to get into the back seat of the car. Like, no, why don't you sit in the front? He's like, oh shit, they've been messing with me this whole time. They're going to kill me the same way they did Carlo. So they put him in the front seat. The two mobsters get in the back. Pablo Escobar gets in the driver's side, and here comes the rope. And they're like, we're just fucking with you. Have a nice trip home, and they let him go. This guy gets stories. He's amazing. Yes. Good times.
So, Stephanie, do you have a grievance you would like to share?
I actually do.
Okay.
I don't know where to begin. Should I just go random out of order?
Sure.
Okay. So I went to these conventions, and I put my email into out of office. Now, the whole purpose of putting your email into out of office is because you're, out of office. And so it has an ending date, right? So it says something like, I am out of office from this date until this date. And let's say the date was, December 17th. Well, while I'm away, I'm getting emails, and they're getting auto responses saying, this is an auto response. I'm out of office until the 17th. If this is an emergency, this is the part where I remind you, I'm not a surgeon. I'm not an obstetrician. There is no emergency. I'm an agent, okay? If you get to a venue and the guy's not there for sound check, it'll be okay. But it's in the email. If this is urgent, I'm sorry, but I keep getting notifications. Please, resend your message, change the subject line to urgent. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Well, I'm away for 5 days. I get over 100 business emails a day on an average day. So everyone's getting these. Well, a couple of people thought, oh, she's out of office. I'll message her by text. Same message that they sent in an email, but by text. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there scratching my head going, so what am I supposed to do with this? You texted me and I can go, oh, well, you texted me. I'm no longer out of office. I'm not out of town. I'm not at work. I'm just going to text you back. No, I'm not going to do that. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, out of office means we're out of office. It means we can't talk to you right now. We'll get back to you when we return. So I just wanted to make that a point in case people don't know what out of office means. It got on my nerves, let me tell you, because like 2 or 3 people did this. They emailed me, got the auto response that I'm not available, so they texted me instead. I'm like, really? It was just so weird. I'm like, why are you texting me? A few actually did call me too. I'm like, I'm not picking up. I'm out of office. What part of out of office don't they understand?
I don't pick up anyway.
You don't have to. You keep hearing all these notifications around. It's like my messaging's going off, my texts, my emails, it's constant. Like It's the end of the world. I just got a video from someone. What is this? Oh, somebody just sent me a video of a fire in their fireplace. They live in California. It's 30 degrees and they're freezing. Oh, good. Good times. Good times.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my next grievance is not a spoiler, but it has to do with the new Spider-Man movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's not a spoiler because it kind of highlights a problem I have with the depiction of Doctor Strange in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Ruh-roh.
Doctor Strange in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like most of the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He cracks wise, he makes jokes, he's pop culture savvy, etc., etc. And the more I think about this, the more I think of the Marvel Comics Universe Doctor Strange, who wouldn't know a joke if it came up and slapped him on the behind and called him daddy. And I go back to the stories in Steve Gerber's Defenders where all sorts of insane shit happens. And Doctor Strange takes it in stride. Why? He's the Sorcerer Supreme. He has seen every weird, messed up, out of your mind thing in the world. So he takes it. Oh, Shandu the magician had his brain put in the body of a deer. Yeah, that could happen. Earth has been invaded by a super smart alien that has started a self-help movement where everyone is to wear bozo masks. Okay, yeah. But in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he's cracking wise, he's making jokes. No, Doctor Strange should be the guy who he takes everything seriously, not because he's Drax, where Drax just sees everything literally, but Doctor Strange should be the most cynical person in the world because he's seen that reality is just what we all decide on. And he can't tell a joke because, oh yeah, I've seen that. And it really kind of rubbed me the wrong way in this movie because there were instances where he was making jokes of it, and I was going, no, Doctor Strange should be the guy who, well, yes, there was one time I actually did see that. Or there is a universe where you see that. And I don't know. I think it just rubbed me the wrong way because I'm used to, I've read so many Doctor Strange comics, and I can't remember a single joke he's told. Not one. Maybe that's a failing of the writers. Maybe that's because Steve Ditko wasn't exactly the funniest guy in the world when he created Doctor Strange. But I like the idea of Doctor Strange has seen everything. So if you were to tell him a joke, he would actually go, oh, yeah, the vapors of Baltine showed me that.
Can I throw in here about Benedict Cumberbatch, though?
No, because he was not funny in Sherlock.
He's not funny at all. Okay, here's my deal. Like, casting agents, I don't know how they do what they do. And I'll just step back a few movies to mention Kelsey Grammer as Beast. And I was like, yeah, no, absolutely freaking not, no. And then I saw it and I went, oh, okay. You know, they know what they're doing. He's pretty good. And he was not the one who had to bounce around off the walls and stuff. He just kind of did the voice in the face. Nightcrawler, yeah. So, but Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. And again, I went, yeah, no, absolutely not. The man's, I don't know how anyone thinks this guy is handsome. His eyes are on either side of his head. I call him Flounder. If you ever hear me say Flounder, I'm talking about Benedict Cumberbatch. He is just ew. But he makes a good Doctor Strange. I will give him that, except for the jokes. I agree with you.
He does actually look like a Ditko character, though.
He does. Yep.
Does that say something about Ditko's art? If he looks like a flounder?
Wait, he's dead. We can put him in a book. He's dead.
Oh,
who would like to go next?
It's Wolf's turn.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what kept my hide, literally, is when this man over here does not actually, get his nails done. hard. He can pay people to do it if need be, or just take the frickin' clippers and a little emery board and get them down. Then he could just slip right in. But no, he catches on things. His nails catch on things now. And ow.
Wolfie needs Obamacare.
I do.
Dan?
Yeah.
Rebuttal?
Rebuttal.
I wasn't paying attention. What did he say?
Well, if you don't want to do a rebuttal, Dan, your next grievance.
Okay, I got a weird one in a way, I guess. So I don't know if this has changed, but the last thing I heard was that they were going to cast Gal Gadot as the evil queen in the new Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
She'd be awesome in that, though.
No. That's not my problem with it. I think she would be awesome in it. However, the whole story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the fact that the evil queen is upset that there's a girl that's prettier than her. I want you to find a 17 to 24-year-old that looks better than Gal Gadot.
That's a good point.
She played a frickin' Amazon goddess and pulled it off. This movie's going to be 3 minutes long. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Well, you are, my queen. Thank you. Credits.
I do want to say about that movie. Wait, this is Snow White, right?
Yeah.
This is where the prince, okay, so he sees this random woman sleeping in the woods. He kisses her. So, okay, he didn't even ask, hey, is this okay? Like you're supposed to do these days. So I want to know how they're going to work that into the movie. Like you're always supposed to ask first. So that whole movie.
Well, hell with that. Or at the same point, is who the hell goes around kissing unconscious and dead and possibly dead? Actually, people, they thought she was dead. She couldn't breathe. She was breathing so low they thought she was dead. This guy went around kissing corpses.
Well, it's the same thing with Cinderella. It's like, oh, you're my one and only. You're the perfect one for me. Then why is he trying the shoe on every freaking woman in the kingdom? Like, it just makes no sense. It's Disney.
He's got a foot thing. Which Stephanie did not know about earlier this year.
I did not.
Which one?
The foot thing.
Oh.
Pictures up of my pedicure and Cory's messaging me going, people pay for that. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, all these links. And I'm like, wait, what? It's not like JCPenney foot models for shoes or socks or stockings. No, these are websites where men, women, children, giraffes, I don't know, people, animals, they're looking at women's feet and they're paying for it. I'm like, I'm just going to put mine out there for free, baby. I'm
well aware of this. There are multiple men that have been contacting my wife and saying, can I get pictures of your feet?
It's just such a weird, I understand the fetish thing, but and I know I still, it's been a little over a year now, but I still have that new divorcee smell. It's still there, and I don't get it. It's like, why would you pay? So I took a picture of something recently. I don't know what it was, but my feet are blurry in the photo because that's not the focus. And then I tagged Cory and I'm like, I did it again.
What gets me is how it comes up all the time with one of the cosplay models I follow, Shirogane-sama. Stephanie, I've sent you pictures of her dressed as Spider-Gwen.
Yes.
She's this Russian, basically she's a Russian cosplay model, goes to conventions, very well known. And all of a sudden, she has a Patreon and she's advertising her Patreon at one point, and she's advertising her OnlyFans at one point, and she says, I have not safe for work photos and feet videos in my OnlyFans.
Wow.
How weird does it have to be a woman where you're going, hey, guys, eyes up here, and you're pointing at your chest?
Okay, and as a woman, I'm hated by women around the world for the things I say, like what I'm about to say now. Ladies, we put on the skimpiest tops and we buy the push-up bras and double your cup size look, and we put this glittery stuff down the cleavage, and we bronze the top so it looks better in pictures, and we go out like this, and then we get pissed off when the guy's looking at our boobs. Really? Come on now. My eyes are up here. Sorry. Next.
I am going to point out, I have been to the place in downtown Minneapolis that Jay Leno mentioned when he finally was able to arm twist the local channel to move the Tonight Show to 10:35, because they used to have Cheers reruns because they did much better than the Tonight Show. But eventually he was able to get Minneapolis to move to get rid of the Cheers reruns. And he talked about, oh, I've been to Minneapolis. I've been to Sex World. That's a pretty nice place, isn't it? I have been to Sex World. What I found interesting was when they expanded, the second floor was nothing but shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So for men, here's latex dolls and videos and all this. What do we add? We're adding something for the ladies. Shoes.
It's weird because I mean, it's like putting a piece. It's like bringing a pizza pie into a room in front, like a starving man, like a guy who hasn't eaten in 10 days, and you bring the pizza and you're like, don't look at the pizza. Don't look at that pizza. You know, you're putting it on display. And you don't expect people, not just men, people to look. Come on now. You know what you're doing. You're not buying a turtleneck when you're going out to the club. You're buying a low-cut, slinky thing. You're getting that fancy, beautiful bra with the nice straps, the backless things. You can see and then you're like, stop looking at my boobs. So it's ridiculous. We know what we're doing. I'm a woman. When I wear something low-cut, I know what I'm doing. I'm not. It's silly.
I had one of the weirdest conversations with somebody along those lines. Is that I was at the Renaissance Festival with Jules, my wife, and her other partner Ishmael, and we're walking along, and we ran into an ex-girlfriend of mine, her and a couple other people, and so we did pleasantries, and then this girl that was with her, who was like 6'2" or something, it's like, well, I'm surprised you haven't said anything. I'm like, what? And she's like, didn't you realize she had her breast restriction done?
Wait, what?
Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't date her anymore. I'm not staring at her chest. She was mad that I didn't stare at her chest, at my ex-girlfriend's chest, to notice that she had a breast reduction done.
I have to, now, here's something else I just have to throw in here because of what you just said, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband was just in his glory. I will remember this day. It lives in infamy because this is how I am in everyday life. This is anything new with me. And we were at a barbecue restaurant in Kansas City. It had to be about 2017, 2018 with a couple of guys that were on my roster at the time. Mm-hmm. A beautiful woman walked in and she had it all hanging out. And I'm looking, the guys are looking, and they kind of like smack Dave. And I said to the two guys, the duo, I said, if he's not looking, I'd be worried. Because it's a beautiful woman, somebody with their boobs hanging. It's gonna turn your head, right? Little did I know he was cheating on me from the day we started dating, but that's besides the point. So, it's like you may not have noticed that she had a reduction, but it's just, and the Renaissance Festival, this is the one in Shakopee, Minnesota. I mean, everyone there has like what I call chest shelf.
Yes.
Right? It's like you push them up so high they're almost to your chin. You can just like put a glass on that and just leave it there to like drink from it.
Yeah, my Jules used to work out there for 23 years, and at one point she won a bodice dagger competition because she could get a claymore down.
Wait, is this a real? I have to ask. Is this a real dagger? Is this like a prop or like a?
No. This is this one. Well, it's an unsharpened blade when they do it.
Yikes.
But of course, at the same time, a claymore is never really sharp because it's not the sharpness that does the damage. It's the weight of the sword. You know what a claymore is, right?
No, I've never heard of this.
Oh, it's the old weapon that's like as tall as most men.
I'm going to just leave that one alone.
No, yeah, not wrong part of the math. The entire thing. It's a 6-foot sword. It's a 6-foot sword that was usually used more as a battling ram than it was an actual sword. But she was able to put that down her cleavage and then get it to go down the dress. So, and she had to stand on a bench because it was the sword itself was too long to get the handle down to her chest before it hit the ground.
Yikes! I've never heard of this. And so she's wearing like a corset, one of those things that you lace up in the back, and like Victorian women would like die and faint from. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Bring back corsets. That's what I have to say.
Wow, you finally got me back in the conversation because I was spending a lot of time thinking about the pizza. But when you say corset, I'm right there.
Don't look at that pizza. I don't care if you are hungry. Don't look at it.
It wasn't made for you to look at.
All right, my next grievance, he said, pulling the podcast back on target. Last year, one of my grievances was that Marvel's last 3 events had been Earth is being invaded. So Marvel had a big event this year, King in Black. What was the plot of it? Earth is being invaded. Earth is being invaded by aliens, this time from Venom's home planet. At this point, I think everybody at Earth is like, well, it looks like, it's March. We're gonna get a new coronavirus variant, and another alien race is about to invade. Everybody ready? Put on your masks and call the Avengers.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next?
Stephanie, you say you have a lot, so I'll let you go next.
No, I actually don't have a lot. Cory thought I would because I'm going to cons again. But since you mentioned COVID, because that's on my list, I won't talk about that right now. That'll be the next go round. But it's kind of, it's a preface, just as a quick preface to the COVID grievance and this is a simple, I don't think it needs explanation what I'm about to say for this grievance. And this is very clear, so no one's uncertain of where I stand. My grievance is that Donald Trump is still alive.
What, you haven't against that? Who'd have thought?
And if we can just send, Mar-a-Lago, he's at Mar-a-Lago now or whatever, just send gift cards like for McDonald's, Burger King, whatever you got to do. Just massive coronary now, please. Thank you. It's like I was hoping 2015 when he said he was going to run, and 2016, and it's been 4 years.
No. He didn't say he would run. He said he would waddle. He believes that running is bad for you.
Oh my God. He's like Bizarro, right? Like Bizarro Superman, like up is down, black is white. It's like COVID's not real and running's bad for you. It's just, if he says something, people are like, well, we don't know when he's lying. It's like, sure you do. He's breathing. It's one and the same. It's like if he's breathing, he's lying. It's just that simple. He's still alive, and it's not right.
I'm pretty sure he knows the difference between black and white.
Well, I will agree with you there. Yeah, he does know the difference between black and white.
At the same time, Stephanie, you're the one that knows the mobster.
Oh my God, but talking to him in the bar, this is just outside Pittsburgh last weekend, the weekend before. So we were in the bar and we knew he was sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God, how do we get out of here without him seeing me? But we were at this end table, so everyone gets up to leave and they're all going across the street to hang at another bar. I'm not a bar person. This was a restaurant in the hotel. And I get up and he's like, hey, come over here. Let's talk. I'm like, oh shit, if I say no. So he says to me, and everyone who knows me knows I'm a hugger, but we're just getting to know each other. He says, are you a hugger? I said, yeah, I like to hug. He said, I would hug you, but every time I hug somebody, I got to pay like child support. That's a little hug, and now I've got 10 kids. I'm like, okay, you're 79, I'm 55. This is not going to happen. There's no hug. There's no like little Carlos. There's nothing to worry about. So yeah, Cory, I'm not sure how you're going to edit it or not, but yeah, just Trump still alive is my grievance. So,
Dan, your turn.
My turn. Well, let's see. Well, if going with the COVID thing, I've got grievances against just about half my family.
Oh, I would imagine I would agree with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got some family down in Florida that for some odd reason is going with the Trump way of life, and up until that time, I had that slim hope of, well, they are related to me. Maybe they're smarter than I think. No.
I actually had my sister tell me
yeah,
not to get the vaccination because it would destroy my soul. I didn't have the heart to tell her that DC's New 52 had already done that.
That needed applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. You've been a beautiful crowd. Don't forget to tip your wait staff. They're working hard for you. Our headliner's up next.
Don't forget to try the veal. Okay.
What? No, go ahead.
All right, my next one is a wrestling one, so you two will stare at me blankly. But one of the few things WWE has been doing over the last decade that's worth watching is a promotion they have called NXT, which is where the newer people who haven't made it to Raw or SmackDown, their big shows, would go to kind of learn the business, learn how to wrestle, learn how to cut promos. And because Vince McMahon paid no attention to it, it was fantastic. The stories made sense. The wrestling was good. The characters they created were interesting. Well, a few months ago, the person who ran it, Paul Levesque, also known as Triple H, and the son-in-law of Vince McMahon had a cardiac issue that caused him to go into the hospital. Vince McMahon took this opportunity to step into NXT and make it like the rest of the company. Within 1 week, it was completely unwatchable. Now, I watch my pro wrestling for wrestling. I don't think the show needs to be all wrestling, but it's nice if there is some wrestling in my wrestling TV show instead of people who've been given a script about a half hour before they're on camera and trying to make sense out of the silly stories that they're given that make no sense week to week, etc., etc. On Rampage, one of the shows I covered, there was a match that lasted 18 and a half minutes. On NXT that week, a 2-hour show, by the way, there was 16 minutes of wrestling in the entire 2-hour show. One match in a 1-hour show had more wrestling than an entire 2-hour show that was filled with bad comedy, terrible acting, and video packages of upcoming events that will have more bad acting and bad comedy sketches. Pat it up the hair with these people. Stephanie, your turn.
I heard wrestling and acting, so it's not real?
It's predetermined.
Got it.
But in WWE, they are actually given scripts. And the problem they're having over the last year or so is Vince McMahon, who's in his late 70s, will take all the work they've done all week and decide about 2-3 hours before the show goes live, I don't like it. Tear it up and start over.
Wait, is he doing that just because he can, because he's being a dick, or is it just like, is it really bad and needs rewriting, or
he's a psychotic 79-year-old who has no idea what anybody under the age of 79 wants to watch on their TV?
Probably want to watch Ty Conti. She was very nice.
Who's not in Vince McMahon's company. She's in the company that I cover and get to watch every week. I get to watch her in skimpy outfits every week, beating the shit out of people because she is a legit jiu-jitsu master.
She's amazing. There's a whole corner of AEW people at this place just outside Pittsburgh. It was, and everyone was really cool, very nice. So
wait a minute. So Vince McMahon only knows what 79-year-olds want to watch. So
well, it's not like it's not like he takes advice from anybody else, because he's got a whole crew of writers who spend a whole week on the show, and he approves it all the way up to about 3-4 hours before the show, and then he goes, on second thought, this sucks. We need to redo it.
So does he just have wrestlers go into the ring and do report the weather?
Hey,
that would be better than most matches.
I'm sorry, Stephanie. What did you say?
That's Al Roker. Sorry. Moving on.
Oh. And today on WWE, 60 Minutes. Oh,
and today on WWE, 60 minutes of poop and fart jokes, because it makes the owner laugh. Dan?
People blazing saddles. Sorry.
Well, one of the other things I've got going back to comics a little bit is that I've been following the new IDW Transformers comics. I know you don't care, Cory, but anyway, I've been reading the Transformer comics, and I wasn't sure what they were doing. They were starting over from like the more historical Transformer stuff, and where the Decepticons first start coming up, and it's finally starting to get going and really, feel like they're trying to go somewhere with it. And then it was announced that IDW is no longer going to be doing it.
Yeah, I thought, and the person who is, it sounds like Robert Kirkman over at Image is the guy who's got the license.
Yes, that's what I heard. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's bad, because I don't know. All I know is that I'm finally getting into their fucking story, and it's going to end.
And it also means that Spider-Man issue where Spider-Man met the Transformers still is not going to be reprinted.
No, it's not. Which I tell you is one of the weirdest things to try to read. When originally it was also supposed to be a limited five issue run, and the third one's not there.
Stephanie?
Oh, you want another grievance?
Yeah, that's how we do this, We got to go round robin.
I'm going to go back.
Although I don't know anybody named Robin right now.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everyone had at least one Robin in there.
I have no Robins, and the work group I have, when I started at the office job I had, our team was 40% Nicoles.
That's really funny.
We are currently Nicolas.
Like Saint?
I was thinking that too. I'm like, what a time to say that. Okay.
We have a Nicole deficit.
Deficit.
This Christmas we have a Nicolas. I like that.
No, I was talking about how much I really, I can't say how many reallys hate that Trump is still alive. And so I really do. And the COVID thing, they kind of go hand in hand, because somebody, specifically Donald Trump, it's not real. It's a hoax. It's fake. It's going to go away just like that. And we're going.
Yeah, but he didn't. That was the problem.
He didn't, and neither did it. Okay, here's the thing, people, and I'm going to just put this out there, okay? We're going into like the second year now of isolation. Some of us live alone, Cory, me, right? And the people, what I do for my job, I have to get people out on tour, to conventions, to appearances, to signings. This is what I do, is what we all do. I would say that one person that I work with doesn't need the money. The rest of them do. Okay, people are like, oh, we're all in the same boat. No, we're all in the same storm. The one guy's in a yacht, a luxury yacht, and everyone else is on the raft from Castaway. And I need to get people back to work. And you have these. Let me back up. So I saw Patton Oswalt at a show about 2 weeks ago, and he said it like this. He said, in 1955, this country could not have been more misogynistic, homophobic, racist, etc. And a polio vaccination came out, and people lined up and they took it. No one said, what's in it for me? And they said, well, your legs, do you like to walk? No one did that. No one said that. They just lined up and they got the vaccination. Fast forward to 2021, we're putting robots on Mars. They're sending back TikTok videos to us. And you've got this portion of the population, thanks to Donald Trump, saying, don't get the vaccination. There's witch poison in it. So he did this, the same as he did January 6th, the same as, and we can just go on and on and on, like what he's guilty of doing and what he's caused and the hell he's wrought upon the country. It's not like he started it, I get that, but he was like gasoline on a fire, and I want him dead. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. Anyway, I can't get people back to work.
By the way, that's metaphorically dead for those of you in the Secret Service listening to this.
Oh no, they live right down the street from me. We all know each other. I wave, okay. Or kisses at them. Yeah, they know where people don't know where we live. It's like, guys, if you want a job, apply with the government. They already know everything about you. You don't need to have a resume. So, tell me I'm wrong.
And you're worried about Alexa.
It's like, I don't want the Alexa in my house though. So anyway, it's frustrating me to no end that it's taken us over 18, 20, 22 months just to get me and these people to these two shows at Halloween and just last weekend. And now with this new, and we know that viruses, this is what they do, right? They mutate. Now with another one, it looks, we're going back into this place again. So I just got an email about a half an hour before we started recording that our big to-do, our big shindig that we have every year, where like 3,000 to 5,000 musicians and radio DJs and festival promoters and people come from 70 different countries to this thing, this convention, this conference that we have every year in February. It was just canceled due to COVID. It had to be moved to May, which screws up all of the touring. Again, this is what we do. This is what agents do. We set up tours. So I have these people touring to and from the location in February, and now they don't have their anchor, which was the conference. And the shows that I have on the books for them in May, I now have to cancel because of the conference being rescheduled. And I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of this. I'm done with it. If we can just get the Mango Mussolini to like extend an invitation to his people to go visit him in Mar-a-Lago, we'll build a wall around them and the Mar-a-Lago and just let them all spread COVID to one another till it goes away, please, because I'm just done. It's been 2 years and I've had it. I don't have any empathy left. I understand if you have cancer and you can't get the vaccination, and so your immune system is compromised. That's different. But to just be like there's witch poison in the vaccination because Fox News and the orange guy said so, doesn't fly with me. If you try to use your religion, doesn't fly with me. I was a pharmacy technician way back in another lifetime. This is in Brooklyn, New York. We had a man who would come in to the pharmacy, Hasidic Jew with diabetes. And the only insulin that he could take was the pork insulin. And you know what? He took it. So do not tell me your religion forbids you from vaccination either. Because what religion says, go around killing your friends, neighbors, kids, co-workers, it's ridiculous. I'm sick of it and I want it over with. There's my grievance.
Can I go next?
Sure.
Okay. I want to say that my grievance is the fact that Stephanie is repressing her feelings about Trump and not letting them out. Stephanie, it's bad for you. You need to let this out and tell us what you really think. Because if you keep repressing it, you're just going to explode.
I really think that someone should sell tickets, and Cory should be the one to do this with his wrestling gig stuff. Just cage match, me and Donald. Just let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see who walks out of there. Come on, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Ready for
Cory.
the weirdest part of the whole story?
Yeah.
Okay, this weekend, Trump and Bill O'Reilly had their tour, their speaking tour, where they spoke to tens of people.
Yeah.
They're dead from COVID.
And Donald said he'd gotten the vaccination and the booster, and the crowd booed him.
Wait, he did not say that.
Yes, he did.
Wait.
And the crowd booed him.
Wait.
How dare he release the Kraken and not understand it would attack him? I did not know that the Frankenstein monster that I created would turn on me. How did this happen?
Wait, so he said COVID was a hoax, and then he got the vaccination, and he told other people not to get it. And then he gets the booster, and he's surprised that they're reacting.
Yeah.
Yep.
He told them he got the booster. Of course they're going to boo him. It's not even a real thing. It's a hoax. It'll just go away. It'll just go away.
Now for my last grievance.
Oh, my God.
We will go from, serious global politics to something I feel is much more important. Comic books.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pie.
I have no grievances with pie.
Oh, true enough. Okay.
Unless
Once again,
unless it's being held from you.
that would be a grievance with the person withholding the pie, not the pie itself.
Okay, semantics.
Yes, they're very important, said the English minor. Hey, I spent a few $1,000s on that degree. I need to use it for something.
I know for sure you're over 21.
Physically. Once again, we have put up with another year of people, some of which are working in the comics business, who've shown they don't know a goddamn thing about the comics business, as we continue to get article after article and complaint and YouTube video and on about how comics are dying. Here in the Twin Cities, we've gone through shutdowns, riots, stores being burned down. We haven't lost a single comic store. In fact, we've added 2. Now, if comics were dying, would we be able to do that? I don't think so. If you go to BookScan, which is the book industry's way of tracking their sales, when you go to a Barnes & Noble, when you go to a comic shop, you know how they scan the barcode? That actually goes to a main computer so that they can track not just what's on the shelf, but what is selling. Amazon is part of it as well. Books sales, physical book sales are up 15% year over year. And in 2020, they were up around the same amount because people are home. They're buying books. Comic sales, graphic novels, collected editions, etc. That's the booming category. It used to be young adult novels. That's leveled off. Comic sales up 30% from last year, and they were up over 30% the year before. Joe Quesada, who's a big high muckety muck suit at Marvel now, had an interview with an industry publication that is part of Disney, that was part of Disney's stock portfolio. Now, I don't know if either of you own stock, but I have started to dabble in that because I'm working all the time. So it's like, well, maybe I should buy some stock. If you lie in your stock information, that's a federal crime, which is what's being investigated with Donald Trump in New York. They said Marvel has made more profit this year than at any time in their history, yes, even when they were selling 9 million copies of the X-Men, because comics cost more now, et cetera, et cetera. They have made more profit this year than they had any time in their history, and it's been that way the last 4 years. He cited sales through Scholastic, sales through Amazon, sales through foreign sales, international sales, et cetera, reformatting their books so that they're on sale at Walmart and Target and other discount stores like that. Regular monthly comics, his sales are about the same. They've been about the same for about 5-6 years. That's not where the growth is. The growth is in the trade paperback and the book and the hardcover and the omnibuses. You want to know why Marvel is printing more and more omnibuses and going back to print on their omnibuses? Because sales on those keep going up. I'm not the only one buying them. DC made a fatal decision to cut back on their trade paperbacks. The only thing that has stopped them from falling apart is they've moved into those young adult size graphic novels that are made just for that market, because those are the ones that get into Walmart and Kmart and Barnes and Noble and Scholastic Books, etc., etc., etc. Boom Studios. If you take a look at what Boom sells, they have, their licensed stuff. Where it's making the money, the original graphic novels aimed at kids 12 to 18. Same for a lot of other small publishers. Comics are doing better than they have in a decade. Books are doing better than they have in a decade. And the next time you see some idiot on their YouTube, oh, I just looked at the sales on the latest issue of New Mutants, and sales are falling apart. Comics are dying. You can pick one piece of information out of that, and that is that person is a brain dead moron who doesn't know a goddamn thing about comics, even if they used to work in them and got fired for their racist views, even if they used to own a shop that shut down because they couldn't sell comics and were chasing out customers who were girls.
Cory, we know who you were talking about. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Comics are growing. Superhero comics have leveled off. But there is more to comics than superhero comics. I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it? They are reprinting Little Lulu. Again, a fourth company has bought the rights to reprint Little Lulu. Why?
Lose his mind.
Because John Stanley's work stands the test of time. There are two companies publishing Disney books, one of which is Fantagraphics. Why? Because people like Carl Barks. Comics are doing great. Go to your shop, look over. Whenever I go to the source, it blows me away not just how long their new comics wall is, but the variety of books. There are books for children. There are books for LGBTQ people. There are books for people like me. There are books for people in their teens, their 20s, and on and on and on. There are books aimed at women, created by women. There are books there are reprints of horror comics that were published in black and white in the 60s. Comics are doing fantastic. And anybody who says there aren't, kick them in the nads. Anyone else?
Well, I can at least explain why they had to come back.
And why is that?
Well, see, they were dying, but then I gave mouth to mouth to the Bone comic.
Oh, God.
Yikes.
Unfortunately, that's because I misconstrued the name.
So wait, was the comic lying in a forest? Just
in a glass case.
Yeah.
Like it was dead.
No, Mylar bag.
We call them a Mylar Snuggie at this point.
Yeah.
That sounds like something you wear to bed.
Damn straight it is.
Mylar Snuggie.
It's not only something to sleep in, but it's built-in protection.
So does anyone else have a final grievance they would like to lay upon the people?
Oh, I have a grievance of the fact that we're somehow getting this under an hour.
No. The grievance part.
Oh!
I was going to use say another thing because I just started doing conventions again.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to one in August, but I didn't have anyone, I wasn't representing anyone there. I just went because I haven't been in so many years, such a long time, but I went, had a great time, met a bunch of people, old friends, made some new ones, whatever. And I'd forgotten when you're working the con, forgive me here, because This isn't me tabling, like I'm sitting at a table and people are bringing me their books, their Sonic, their Archie, whatever. Can you sign this? It wasn't that at all. I'm working with the celebrities, people that we're bringing to the shows, you know, band, that kind of thing, and the sound system and doing all the behind the scenes stuff. And so guys walk up, and this happens all day, the 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the con, where they say, you know, I run a podcast, or I have a radio show, an interview thing.
Hey, wait.
Yeah, newspaper. I've got this, I've got that, I've got the other thing. And they give me their card, and sometimes something cool like a pen. I do have a pen here from one of these guys that I kept. And they all ask, is it possible for me to interview this guy, this actor? And I'm like, well, you know, thanks for giving me the card. After the show, now mind you, I say after the show, which means, I don't know, after the show. They give me the card on Friday, and I tell them after the show, I'll get back to you sometime. Give me some time. We get a lot of these. We really have to look through them, check the actor's schedule, see which ones are worth doing. Mine's worth doing. I know you say that, but I still need to do my homework, right? And they give me the card at the opening of the show. Excuse me 1 second. Should I get that? No, okay, so it's a friend in Seattle. Sorry about that. I'll have to call him back. Anyway, so they give me the card at 10 o'clock on Friday, and they come back around dinner time and say, so can you do my show? And I kind of go, I'm sorry, what? Can you do the show? I'm like, didn't I just meet you this morning? They're like, yeah. I said, I'll look at your card and do my research after the show. Then they come back to me on Saturday. Now, I don't know if they meant after the show on Friday. So now I have to redo what I'm saying, rework it and go, okay, I meant after the weekend. Like the show ends on Sunday, I have to fly home then. You know, there's no direct flights where I live. I have to make all these stops. Okay, fine. And they come back again on Sunday and go, can you do my show? And I'm like, okay, that's it. He's not doing your show. I mean, literally. And now I just say that to them because I'm like, if you're going to be this obnoxious about it. So there's a difference between hustling and trying to sell yourself and being obnoxious. I don't know if they're being deliberately obtuse, or they think they're being cute, or they think that maybe they think that's what hustling is, but it's not. So when you approach an agent and ask for XYZ and they say ABC, you don't come back at them with like this mumble jumble, just mix up the other letters in the alphabet and throw it at me and this one guy was doing this to me more than once a day over the weekend. So by Sunday, I literally told him, your show's just not going to work for my guy. He's like, really? I thought you said after the, now you heard me. It was after the weekend. But he was just, this happens all the time at shows, and I've forgotten about that. So, yeah, if you're approaching someone, be professional, listen to what the agent is saying. If you don't hear back from them within, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks, then reach out and say, hey, did you misplace my card? Do you have a response for me? Can your guy do my show or not? That's different. But to consistently, what I call, harass the person who's trying to work, and it is overwhelming, running 14, 16, 18 hours a day constantly at these cons. So just don't do that. I mean, you know, here you are running a podcast, Cory. I can't imagine you doing that to someone. So you know what you're doing, and those guys don't. And by the way, Cory, if you want to like interview some famous people, just let me know who you want, and I'll probably get them for you after the weekend.
Well, there is Julie McCullough.
Does Julie know anything about comics? Because if she does, we can have her on the show maybe.
She's a stand-up comic.
If you stand up comics, you need one of those Mylar onesies, though.
Actually, when I interview people outside the world of comics, I usually talk to them about transitioning from one field to another. And she has transitioned from model to actress to comedian. And I think that that would be a really interesting flow. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk to Dan for his final grievance. Thanks, Dan. You've been great.
You're welcome. I'll tell you what, I can give you a grievance. You know, we finally get the kids out of the house. Okay, we've had them in the house since the beginning of COVID, and And when we bought the house, that I had this big plan for the basement of turning it into a gaming room and and then a spare bedroom and an office. And then we had the kids have to move in, and they basically took over the basement. Okay, fine. Finally, in August, they bought their own house. We got them the hell out of it. And then we find out that there's black mold all over the basement. So I still don't have my basement because we had to tear it apart.
Wait, you only found this out after?
Yeah. It had just started. Like right as they were leaving, it started to show. And it was because there was water coming at. It might not have actually been black mold. It was just mold that was black because it was water damage. So.
Wait, so black mold and mold that's black are two different things? Is this like a Donald Trump thing again?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there are molds that are black. That is not the black mold that people normally talk about. If that makes sense.
Okay.
There's different types of molds, and some of them are the same color.
Some of them are edible in salads.
Exactly.
And cheeses.
Well, not everything is a grievance, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not true.
Because
Guys.
during the holidays, I give up our sponsors, and instead, we give that time over to charities that we feel are important, like this one. Operation USA is a Los Angeles-based international disaster relief and development agency helping communities at home and abroad overcome the effect of disasters, disease, violence, and endemic poverty. Since 1979, Operation USA has worked in 101 countries, delivering over $450 million in aid for relief and development projects around the world. Operation USA is a hands-on agency with a small dedicated staff overseeing our projects and disaster response works. Free of the bureaucracy and overhead of a larger organization, creative solutions allow us to respond to real needs in real time. As founding board member Julie Andrews says, Operation USA is the little ship that gets in the harbor that the big ships cannot go. It is 100% privately funded. They work without any government financial support or the constraints that support may bring. Disaster relief is often associated with the developing world, but since our earliest days, Operation USA has dedicated a portion of their efforts to projects here at home, and as needs have increased, in some years as much as 50% of their work is done in the USA. When you donate to Operation USA, you immediately start to make a difference in the lives of the people who need it most. Operation USA is the relief company the relief organization that I give money to because they're the most highly rated organization that does such things, in that more of the money goes to the relief rather than to the bureaucracy and salaries of the people involved. You can give to Operation USA at opusa.org. That's opusa.org. And I don't just do this podcast. I do all of these. The Solitaire Rose Radio Network is currently on a pause, basically because COVID-19 has made it so that I have to work a lot of extra hours at both jobs, but you can still go and listen to my other podcasts. Now, you're probably listening to Crazy Comics and Stories, which is the main podcast, but on this same feed, KRAYZCOMIX, is Solitaire Rose Radio, the solo radio podcast that I do. I've done interviews, I've done short stories, I've done all sorts of things, and you can get to it right here on this same feed. I also do a podcast called Novelcast, where I take the novels I've written and turn them into free audiobooks. That's over at novels.solitairerose.com. Dangerous Dan Mohr and I, and of course Wolfie B. Bad, give you bad advice over at badadvice.solitairerose.com. You send in your questions, and we give you the aforementioned bad advice. And then myself and Adam Vermillion from For the Love of Comics do the Fantastic Forecast at fantasticforecast.solitairerose.com, where we go through the issues of the Fantastic Four, 4 issues at a time, to give the plot and commentary on each issue. That's not all. Yes, I'm crazy. I still, over at pwinsiderelite.com, every week on Wednesday, do a recap of the latest episode of AEW Dynamite. I write up what happened, and then myself and Anthony Pyrus will do an audio. Now, you can only listen to the audio if you're a member at pwinsiderelite.com, and if you're a wrestling fan, you should be, where we then break down the episode, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, give it a grade, and let you know if you should have watched that episode. Those are the other podcasts here at the Solitaire Rose Radio Network. Thanks. Oh, and Joe has an eBay page. Now,
Hey, Joe's not here. He doesn't get a plug.
Is our podcast in that list?
yes,
Oh, good. Then we should really start doing it again.
yes, I believe so. Believe it or
Okay,
not,
good.
I did not use that as a grievance.
Yeah, I was surprised.
That takes restraint
Yeah, I know.
and medication.
On both of our sides. Trust me.
This medication.
You know how hard it is to take medication without a throat.
No comment.
So Nancy Reagan takes all the medication. No, it's time for
But
freaking and geeking. We've already done the freaking, so now it's time for geeking. We will start with Dan. Dan, what are you geeking on this year?
Uh-oh.
Stephanie, what are you geeking
Go to
on?
them first.
well,
Other than the fact that you've been able to keep people from hitting on all the women at the conventions you go to.
well, it's funny because I mean, and this isn't a geeking thing, but I do have to mention it's very amusing. So I'm with a team of people, and it's always I'm 4'11", I weigh like 100 pounds, and it's always these really big guys. One of them, they couldn't say his name. He's not from here originally, and they said that's got to be the actor's Russian bodyguard. And I would look at the guy and I'm like, that's not a Russian bodyguard. That's a Croatian accordion player because he's in the band, and they didn't know. And he is. He's a Croatian accordion and keyboard player from the band. I'm like, no. So then this rumor started going around that the little girl running around with all the energy, wearing black from head to toe, is a little ninja, and she's like a bulldog. So I'm the bodyguard, is what went around. And I was like, okay, then I'm the bodyguard. So it was really funny. Anyway, you all know I haven't watched or owned a TV since like 2005. I think everyone who knows me knows that. Well, apparently you can watch TV online now, kids. And I just joined the 21st century. Yes. Anyway, I found a show. I am addicted to the show Somebody Save Me. Actually, there's two shows. I don't know if I want to tell you the second one because the second one's really goofy, but
It's about feet, isn't it? The second one is just models showing their feet, isn't it?
well, it's got something to do with models. You got that part.
Okay.
But the first
Petty
one,
TV.
no, okay, this show, it is just, so I think it's called Family Chef, but it's like little kids that are cooking these dishes that are just, and they're beautiful to look at, and the flavors, and so it's like this little girl named Delilah, and she's there with her Uncle Danny, and I don't know, like Megan Trainor is, I don't even know how they got Megan, she's like that, all about that bass girl, she's the host or something, which just doesn't make any sense to me. See, this is why I don't like no sense. She's not a chef. She's not. I'm like, why is the girl from All About That Bass? Why is she the host? Couldn't tell you. That's a casting? No. Anyway, I'm just geeking over this show because it's cooking, which I love to do, and it's kids, and they're like 10, 11, 12 years old, and they want to be chefs. So I love it, and I'm geeking on it. So do you want to know what the second show is?
Sure.
It's Project Runway.
Oh,
I like watching them get these, they tell them what they have to do, and then they just get yards of fabric and create these like works of art on women's bodies. It's pretty incredible, like watching the process to go from sketch to runway. I just think is amazing. And it's a creative arts thing, so I like it. So there you go, things I'm geeking on. I'm actually watching TV. I'm just doing it online, kids.
Dan, are you ready now?
Yeah, I think I do. Most of mine actually work into the grievances though, because like I said, the kids are friendly. What?
See, everything's a grievance.
Yeah, exactly.
like I said, the kids are finally out of the house. So, we have it back. Now, my wife might be, oh, my daughter's out of the house and stuff like that. And I'm back here going, God, they're gone. So I finally going to be able to, now that all that, the other stuff has been taken care of, we just have to put some wall back up. I'm going to finally be able to make my gaming room. Cory will finally be able to have some poker nights.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I am by the way, anyone who wants to play, I am terrible at poker, and you will take all my money.
You will. I've seen him play. Worst thing ever. Of course, he was playing against Nick. So,
Nick, come on now. Nick was they can make a movie about him and his poker. Yeah.
But so I'm really excited about getting the house, where we wanted it, and we finally can. So that'll be nice. Other than that, I mean, it's been a weird year. I got to go to Disney and Universal. That was fun. It was mainly because it was the Jules, Ishmael, and then another couple that we really are good friends with. So we had a blast. As far as I can tell, I spent a ton of money to go shop, because when we were down there, I think we went on a total of 2 rides. So I think it was worth it, but and I spent way too much money at the Transformer store.
Is that possible for you to spend too much money on Transformers?
When I'm unemployed, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Wait, Dan, I thought you got a new job.
Oh God, I should have brought this up in the grievances. It was like I said, a weird year. I had a job in the spring, or I've had a job for 6 years that they reorged and got rid of our entire department except for the newest person that had been hired, which happens to be a good friend of mine. So I got him the job, and then we all got fired except for him.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got another position within the company, but it was not a position that they didn't know what they were doing with the position. So I didn't know what the heck was going on. So I was basically twiddling my thumbs. When I tried to do something, they would take it away because not because they thought I was doing a bad job. There was this one person that was a control freak, so kept moving it to other people. I'm like, okay. So I sat there. I wasn't learning the new job, but then I got offered a new position as to help create a reporting department at a different company. And I'm like, this is awesome. So I took that. I applied. I got it. I got offered the job, put in my 2 weeks. On the Thursday of the second week, I'm at the funeral of Jules's uncle, and I get a call from the new company saying, well, we just did a whole reorg, fired about 30% of our workforce, and we're rescinding all the offers. I'm like, ah. I quickly call up the job I had put my 2 weeks in, and unfortunately they're like, well, it's too late. We already got somebody, that we're going to be putting in that position, so we can't bring you back. And so suddenly I went from a really cool opportunity to unemployed.
I am so sorry. That's awful.
Oh yeah, it was just a comedy of errors. Luckily, like the reason we were able to do the trip is because I had already prepaid for the whole thing, like months earlier. So it was paid for and stuff like that. So it wasn't going to be anything else more out of the pocket. So we could still go. And it was it's like, oh my God. So I've been looking for jobs. We happen to, another humorous part, a positive part is that we found out Jules had a 401k from a job a while ago that she had completely forgot about. So we had some money that we could use to make sure that all our bills and everything were paid for probably another 6 months if we need to. So, but I've got some opportunities that are in the pipeline right now. So hopefully one of them will go through.
Yeah, good luck to you. That's just awful. Wow.
Right. Unless, of course, I could get an agent that would actually get me work in the field I want.
Yes. Yes, there's always that. There seems to be more people looking for agents than there are agents. It's really weird.
Well, that was a really nice defense on her part.
No, I'm just thinking about something now. There's like, I was just thinking about something as I said that. There are like no agenting schools. Like, why don't agents have schools to teach people to be agents so there's more of us? Ah, ha, ha.
Because you got to be thrown in the deep end of the pool to learn.
I pretty much did, but it's like on the job learning, and I was lucky, very lucky, to find 3 mentors right away who wanted to help, and they were legitimate, and they're still in my life, and they're wonderful people, and they all happen to be guys. I'm sleeping with one of them, but other than that.
This sounds like more fringe benefits I want. Anyway, go on.
It's like my ex-husband was like, those guys all have ulterior motives. One of them did, apparently. Who knew? Oh, good times, good times. Oh. Hey, can I give you another for geeking?
Sure.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I need to gather all of these together. The sound you're about to hear is me dropping stuff on my. Okay, so we've got Burt's Bees Coconut and Pear Moisturizing Lip Balm. EOS, and that doesn't say anything else on it. It's just pink. Chapstick Total Hydration, pink nude. Sun Bum Coconut, SPF 30. Revlon Kiss, what is this one? Something, something, something. It's like, oh, tropical coconut. And then Lip Butter Strawberry Moisturizing and Soothing. So I'm geeking on chapsticks. Chapstick comes, I don't wear makeup. I don't know who knows that or not. I don't wear any makeup at all. And chapstick comes with tint now. So it looks like you're wearing lipstick. And it tastes good. And it's moisturizing your lips. And it has sunscreen in it. God bless the 21st century.
I'm geeking about that too because chapped lips just, are annoying.
Not as much as hangnails, but still.
I was going to say that like a chapped ass, so. No, seriously, the only one that I don't like the Sun Bum is really good, but it's extremely strong. It's the coconut.
The Sun Bum?
It says Sun Bum on it, but it tastes like you put it on your lips and your mouth tastes like Hawaii, so then you feel like adding a pizza.
Oh, no, that makes sense because it's protecting you like the sun don't shine.
Ah, ha, ha.
Well, Joe's not here. I have to make the bad jokes.
Wow, poor Joe.
Yeah, poor Joe. He just celebrates, I don't know, he's used to be Catholic. I don't know what they do. I've been to one Catholic wedding and I felt like I was in a marathon.
I was going to say, whatever it is, it's long.
Yes. Well, my geeking, first off, I have seen the new Spider-Man movie. I am not going to give spoilers because I don't do that. But this was such an emotional ride that honored all of the Spider-Man movies that have come before. And the only thing that made me a little depressed afterward was I realized, wow, there are a lot of people here with Spider-Man nostalgia for the early movies, and they're kind of new. And oh crap, they came out 20 years ago. But it actually wraps up loose ends from every Spider-Man movie that's ever been made. And it was very sweet and very fun. And it reminded me of why people like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because it was action, it was romance, it was fun, it was funny. It was all those things crammed into one movie. And there are people who, before they go in, will go, wow, 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's a long time. You're going to leave that movie going, it was 2 hours and 30 minutes? Boy, it didn't feel like that. It just flew by. And it does. It flies by. It surprises you. It's so much fun. And the one thing that's gotten out is that all the Spider-Mans are in it. Andrew Garfield is so good in that movie. And they do this wonderful thing with him where they acknowledge how good he was. The other Spider-Man actors kind of acknowledge how good he was. And it really made me feel good to see all of this love for the Spider-Man movies in one big sort of spectacle. And it's also something I think we need. I have not gone to a movie theater in 2 years.
Same.
And I didn't want to go to the movie theater for this, but I decided, it's everybody's talking about how great it is. I get emails. I got both of the guys who run the wrestling website I write for emailed me. It's like, oh, you've got to go see it in the theater. You've got to see it now. And they're not comic book guys. And I absolutely loved it. I made sure that no one was sitting next to me on either side, which made me very happy. But it is worth the trip to the theater. It's an excellent, fun movie that, no, it's not deep, but it is fun. And it will touch you, and it's very well done. Comic-wise, they are using new paper on the Marvel Omnibuses. So the last 2 Omnibuses I've got, I get them out of the box, and it's like, wow, these are really thin. These are super thin. Why do they cost so much? No, they're still 700, 800, 900 pages. It's just they're using a different paper that's not as thick, but still looks as good. So my shelves will not groan as hard when they're being placed on them. But I am reading the Savage Sword of Conan omnibuses recently because, one, I couldn't read those when I was a kid because Mom would look at them and go, no, that's $1.50 for a comic book. Comic books are $0.25. That's just crazy talk. And also, when I had my own money, it's like, well, I have $1. I can't even afford one issue, but I can buy 4 of the regular. I'm buying 4 of the regular comics. The art in it is so beautiful. There is an old story that they used Filipino inkers for a lot of that stuff. And Tony DeZunia was kind of their agent. And there was one time that they sent a bunch of John Buscema art to the Philippines, and he took it to one of the inkers and told him, all right, your deadline is this day. And the deadline came and went. Stephanie, I know nothing like that ever happens in comics, ever.
Oh.
The deadline came and went, and he was calling the guy saying, I need the art back. I need the art back. And finally, he went over to the guy's house, and the guy hadn't touched the pages. And DeZunia said, well, why haven't you done this? And the inker, his hands were just shaking, saying, I can't do anything but ruin them. Anything I would do would ruin these pages. So DeZunia took them and inked them himself. Didn't ruin them, but that's how good this art is. It's beautiful, and you could tell John Buscema was one of those artists. If he really liked what he did, you could tell in the art because he would add detail and dynamics and use unique poses and the superhero stuff that he didn't much care for. He would just whip that out. It was still great, but you could tell he couldn't give less of a shit.
Blazing Saddles, sorry. Excuse me while I whip this out.
And I'm just reading this, lingering over the art. We don't know how good we had it back then. Yes, the art now can be very good too. And one of the big differences is that now the pencilers put all the detail in the pencils so that the inkers don't really add a whole lot. So when you look at art drawn by, say, anybody in current comics, whoever it's inked by, it's going to kind of look the same because the pencils are incredibly tight and detailed. But the inkers they had on John Buscema in the black and white stuff, like Ernie Chan and Tony DeZunia and Ralph Reese and on, even Neil Adams is inking John Buscema in some of these, and you're just drooling over these pages. We had no idea how good we had it back then.
Do not say drooling and Neil Adams in the same sentence, please. Thank you.
Well, I am, because I keep hearing about his expanding Earth thing. And whenever I hear about it, I think that he's got to be sitting at a table, drugged out of his mind and just kind of sitting there. Oh, yeah, the Earth is getting bigger. It's expanding like a balloon. Believe it or not, kids.
Wait. I have a question.
Sure.
I have a question.
You have a question?
Everybody has questions.
So when you were talking about the Spider-Man movie,
Yes.
and you said no spoilers?
Yeah.
So all 3 Spider-Men are actually in the movie?
It's not a spoiler because it's been in the ads.
Well, I haven't watched the ads, specifically not to know.
And my question also had to do with the Spider-Man movie, Cory. You said,
Yeah.
you said all the Spider-Mans are in it, and I'm wondering if Nicholas Hammond's in it.
Sadly, no.
Shit. I know he's in Australia, but I thought maybe if they can get Nicole Kidman from there, then, you know.
No, you know why he's not in it?
Mm-mm.
Back when Dan Slott did the Spider-Verse comic story, he was killed. Spider-Man from the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, he was killed. The Spider-Man from Electric Company was killed. The Spider-Man from the Hostess universe was killed. You didn't read Spider-Verse?
Okay. I'm eating peanut butter right now. Hold on a second. Hold on. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but you can kill a comic book character and he's not really dead. Okay?
Sacrilege.
Sorry for that spoiler, kids.
Look, I know for a fact that when they killed off... No, never mind. Hold on. Oh, when they killed off... No, hold on. Captain No.
No. The original Captain Marvel. No. The Marvel original Captain Marvel is still dead.
Oh, do you know who I was with in Parsippany, New Jersey? Jackson Bostwick. Shazam. Remember the
Oh,
Shazam?
yes.
Jackson Bostwick was there. It was very interesting because he looks exactly the same. If he wasn't wearing the leather Shazam jacket, I wouldn't have known who he was.
Huh.
Like if I saw him on the street, I'd be like, yep, whatever.
Well, that says a lot for his star power, doesn't it?
I'm gonna say yes. So
Yeah, just the way he looks. She would just look at him and go, whatever.
yeah, whatever. And because we can't, we don't have him as a sponsor, I do love peanut butter, and I can't tell you what kind I'm eating, but I am a choosy mom right now.
Oh, that didn't give it away.
It's Reese's peanut butter.
That's good.
Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, you've listened to us blather on about our grievances for an hour and a half.
I still feel like that's short when compared to what I usually derail the thing for.
Well, last year we were on for 2.5 hours because Joe was ranting about when he was a kid and how he was bullied, and I remember that like it was yesterday.
And how he hated Festivus.
That too, very much.
And we'd also like to remind you that the comic we like the least, we still like better than the comic that you like the most. Shall I hit our music?
Go for it.
Hit the music.